Сегодня у нас в гостях пан Йозеф Хабер. Наверное, многие из вас его уже знают. Это наш добрый друг, товарищ и член, по большому счету, нашей семьи. Потому что пан Йозеф уже давно-давно почетный профессор нашей академии. И, опять же, находит возможность, силы, время, ресурсы для того, чтобы приехать раза два в год, пообщаться с нашими студентами. Человек с богатейшим жизненным опытом, практик, в то же время преподаватель школы банковской из Польши. Вот сегодня его лекция. Пан Йозеф, пожалуйста.
Дякую. Я буду сегодня читать лекцию на английском языке, потому что был такой вопрос и пожелание, чтобы передать вам на английском языке в международнике, но многие говорят очень хорошо уже на английском языке, а многие даже и понимают. Well, so very welcome to my lecture today. I'm very glad that I'm able to come and to have a touch with you. Every time when I'm coming to Sumi, it is a custom that I will share my knowledge and as well my experience, large international experience, as I am moving every week in another place of the world. This week I just consecrated to be in Sumi in Ukraine, so as you can consider, I am a rather guest at my home, and my wife is always looking if I will change only luggage or will stay some days more and at home, but it was impossible last half a year. Really, I am very, very busy with an international society. Today I would like to present to you something what is very important as you are preparing in your studies to be member of global society. You want to move into global society, and that's why I present to you today how to going to be global. What is important to be global, and after my presentation, if you will have, but I'm sure you will have some questions, and do not hesitate, just attack me with your questions. There are no difficult questions, there are difficult answers. So that's why feel free, and any questions are very welcome, and I will try to do my best to answer for your questions and your problems. Maybe sometimes I will find good advice what to do to be really global. First of all, I want to say that we live in a global society, but it is not a stable society. It is dynamic change of the situation. I do not mean only the situation within your country, Ukraine, but as well the geometry, global geometry of security, of economic structure, and everything what is dealing with the financial situation within the world. And it is not the case that we are just in the position to say that we have stabilization. We have no stabilization because everything is just flowing and changing dramatically. Even the last months, we have to take into account that dramatically change the situation of big companies producing, for instance, petrol. Yesterday in the night when I came here from the airport, from Kiev, we crossed many petrol stations, and what I noticed, since once a year, the prices for the petrol in Ukraine doubled. In the opposite, in our country, they are decreasing. So they are cheaper than 1 year ago. So almost 20 euro cents. So it is impossible to believe that I just entered into the country where the prices are doubled. So the inflation rather is very high, and I hope that your salaries will increase as well. But it is not the case, because my friends here already explained me that rather the stabilization is on the salaries. They are stable on the same level, but prices are higher and higher, so you rather see the mountains of prices in every shop, in every magazine, and on the free market. Well, globalization. And the problem is, have we to accuse globalization? No. It will be a stupidity, rather ridiculous, because the people, the solutions, the projects established by people are the source of problems. So the problem is how to avoid faults, difficulties going to be global. And first of all, what factors you have to consider? No, first, get company-wide commitment. Maybe wide commitment, but what to be done before to be committed? First of all, you have to be aware of the problem. Your consciousness, your knowledge, and together with practice. Then you have to be convinced that you have to be committed. You have to be convinced. So the conviction and then the wide commitment of the company. Every one of you, maybe some of you don't like this, but usually the people, when they are coming to study, they want to be leaders in the future. I think that I'm right. My students in Poland, everybody, girls and boys, they want to be great managers and then higher and higher. It is a dream of every student, and you must be as well, because otherwise you will be only waiting for a small success. You have to be just committed within your company to have a great success. Otherwise, you will have no success. So it is the problem. Why it is necessary to have this wide commitment? Because every company has a goal to serve to people, to customers, and with good job, good quality of service, maybe advice, if you are a consulting company. Some of you maybe will be very good consultants. It is very important sector of a new business all around the world. And don't say that Ukraine is not in a global system. Is. Everybody knows that we have the maps at home. But how many of you have globus at home? When you are going to a map and turn with your finger in one place, so you will see that we are on the east, on the west. When you turn, put your finger on the globus, everyone you have in the middle of the world, in the center. Every place on the globus where you put your finger is in the center of the world, not on the just wall map. So don't believe the wall map. You have to be global. Your thinking of way must be all around the world, because you are turning every day, as usually theirs do, since millions years. So you have to be global. The wide commitment. The second step is define your business plan for accessing global markets. You are students. I'm a teacher. I always make case studies for my students. Why? Because I want to know if they think globally. Case study. Make just your plan of business. Are you able to do this? Answer to you. If you make this every day or maybe once a year, no. You have to be committed to do your business plan. And it must be international, because Ukraine and every country is in the network of international relations, economic relations. You are not in a composition of a state planning economy and autarky system, because you are linked with the world. Even the problems, difficulties, you have export and import. So you are linked with the world, so your business is linked with the world. And you have to put it on the international problems and to analyze what is going on actually within the economics of the world and international community, and especially in your branch where you are going to be active. So it is important thing. And what more, you have to be capable to answer how possible feedback is. So the results of your work. When you do some shopping, you want to buy some goods. Not every time just you can say how will be the effect of your shopping. I don't mention food, but sometimes yes. Because the people are going to buying some food, especially girls, just guarding lines, that I want to be slim, to be nicer, but it doesn't mean more healthy, because it is necessary to count result of your body every time. So it is that you have to make some analysis and to come to results. Third step, determine how much you can afford to invest in your international expansion efforts. For instance, I would like to be more provocative, because Ukraine wants to be member of the European Union. So, you rather want that foreign companies will come and invest in Ukraine. But it is not one way. When you will be associated after agreement, it is not the same when the agreement is signed and immediately you are associated. It is a long process. For my country, Poland, it was 14 years process from signing the document of association to be a member. 14 years without such troubles as you have at the moment. So please take it into account that it's not a miraculous just key point that we signed agreement and everything on the other day is like Alice in Wonderland. Nothing. It will be a long process with very dangerous steps of foreign capital. And where is your Ukrainian capital? What do you want to invest outside your country to be competitive, to be more aggressive, and how capability is of your country, of your business? Did you make any analysis for that? Did you have any reports from your government showing what is the power of Ukrainian economy to be competitive in global society, global competitive environment? But you want to be competitive. You want to invest with your creative, inventive position and your capability of your heads and of your knowledge, because you have appropriate knowledge and you have to use it. So you have to be in a position just building competitive company and going to abroad to any international point of this global network of enterprises, of production, services, consultancy, and something like that. So please, look for this possibility, because it is not that you will wait that someone will come to you. You have to be ready to be dynamic, active, and to go abroad. Just find. It is not defending position, but active, attacking position, because the attack is the best defense. Always. So look for that. You have to build such a structure, economic structure, even a small, and after that you will look for the financial resources. The next, plan at least a 2-year lead time for world market penetration. is that it is what students mostly do, especially before writing your dissertations, that every time is that I would like to know who is my competitor. So it is used mostly SWOT analysis for that. You are going to look what are the threats, what are the opportunities, and how I am strong and where I am weak. So plan at least a 2-year lead time for the penetration of international market. So do it quietly, but in an appropriate way, using quantitative and qualitative measures. So it is your business. Your business must be just grounded and founded on the stable position. You have to know where you can go, because it is not so that the global network, the structure of business, is so strong in every point. Every time you can find a weak point of the structure, and then you will come and win. So please do it carefully and do not be in a hurry. Do not be in a hurry, because it is very responsible work which have to be done. Then build a website and implement your international plans sensibly. Website, every company is doing a website, creating a website. The people are just looking for the best design. Most businesses are looking for attractive logo of company, like for instance, made it Coca-Cola. I remember when for the first time I have been on a marketing lecture, my professor said, do you know, it was something like that, to the President of the United Nations, of the United States, came an advisor and said, Mr. President, Russians just landed on the moon. What to do? Nothing, just wait. After several hours, this advisor came once again. Mr. President, they came to just on the moon, paint it on the red. What to do? Wait. For what? When they finish, then you will come and sign Coca-Cola. So it was something like that. On that red planet, you will sign Coca-Cola. The most effective and expensive trademark of the world. So you see, the company is using not only logo, but as well today website. When the logo was for the first time used, it was not website, internet. Today we are global with the network. So when you have a website, be sure that you are in a global network of internet, always on, always in, and everybody can have an access to you. And then is the problem of positioning of your website. It is always something like that, that when you are going to Google, what after the first word or first letters will be shown. So be sure that you will be not the last. Of course, the people are saying last but not least, but in everyday competition, you have to be sure that you are just ready to be seen
by people who are watching to the internet every day, because it is the work of the people of marketing services and units in every corporation, everyday work. Maybe some of you will start your work as a researcher of the website of global competition work. You have to as well decide in which language you will just put it. I'm speaking in English. Okay, English is a global language. Today's lingua franca, like Latin language was till the Middle Ages, and replacing by national languages during the Renaissance. And today, we have to be aware that not only the English language, because most competitive market is Chinese market. So maybe it is necessary to have a specialist who knows Chinese, but it is not only language. You have to know the culture and how the access to global internet is in China. Or everything is possible in that country, or maybe something is controlled and your website will be not accessible to that. Maybe Arab language, because it is official language of the United Nations. Maybe Spanish, Latin America. So you have to decide where to go, and then decide which language you have to choose. When you will go to Poland, for instance, because it is a neighbor country, people are very friendly to Ukrainian people. So maybe you have to find someone who will work with you in Poland in favor of your company, because it is impossible otherwise to access over there. Next. Pick up a product or service to take overseas. You have to decide what is your product or service which you can offer outside. For instance, I have heard 2 weeks ago in Paris on the conference in Sorbonne. I had this conference, so I had to sit down during the whole day and to hear every papers presented over there. And one was something like that. That from a small country, people said, we have no real product to offer. And my question was, you don't product anything? Really? You make no service in our country? You are just sitting at home? Or the people are working? Of course we are working, producing services, products. So please decide what will be the flag product of your company or flag service to offer outside. Maybe it is product or service of quite unusual characteristics, which is quite new. Ukraine is a very dangerous country for the European Union. I said this 2 years ago here at the Academy on the international conference that your country will have really difficult way to be full member of the European Union. First of all, your agriculture. So your agriculture products, for instance, for your business, are the products with the label and trademark eco, because there is no so great chemical treatment of the soil as in the Western Hemisphere. So they are eco. So maybe it will be the flag product. Eco. And Ukraine has such a capability of agriculture products which extends 3 times the possibility and capability of the European Union 28 countries. Do you understand this? Are you aware of this? Where you were, and when you will come as a full member to the European Union, how much you will receive from the common agriculture fund as subsidized to your agriculture? Who will be your opponent? Did you analyze anything of that? Look, your flag product or service to take overseas. Look, who is just demanding so many products from agriculture? Are there countries? Of course, Arab countries, China, India all together. What is the market? Almost 3 billion people. Almost half a population of the world. Only 2 countries, plus Indonesia and the half. Have you an imagination what is for the market, for the Ukraine? What to do with the surplus of the production just to make export? But very good. You will enter, I will not say before, but in such a country like Japan, demand for agriculture products every year is more than $300 million. More than $300 million for eco products. Just look for a small company, Ukrainian company, offering maybe products for $2 or $3 million per year. It is sufficient to live and to extend your expansion? Yes, of course. But you have to decide what. Look, you have resources. So it is not that I'm going to an African or Latin American country. I'm staying here in Ukraine, looking for your capabilities, not expectations, because your expectations extends your borders, and you don't look to your capabilities. Look to your capabilities, and then you will find your flag product. The next, conduct market research to identify your prime target markets. So maybe you have to just discover one market. Maybe it will be the market of your neighbor. Maybe it will be Polish market. Why not? you have just not so long transport distance, and no problems with coming to the Polish market, because you are associated with the European Union. We are open to your goods. So maybe some pre-Baltic country, but it's a small rather market. But Poland is one of the 5 most important markets within the European Union. Next. Search out the data you need to predict how your product will sell in a specific geographic location. Look, one of my colleagues, who is rather businessman with no larger cultural knowledge and so on, said, Russia just made embargo for Polish pork meat. So please advise me to, you have contacts with Arab countries, to what rich Arab country we have to export this pork. My God. Nothing, because do not eat pork meat. Of the religion, relations with Quran and everything, with the tradition. So there is forbidden to import any pork. So look, you have a surplus of something, but you have to know how to sell it. It is our problem in our country as well. We have to look every time how to make, for instance, the market campaign with product in a different world, in Arab countries, in China, or in Latin America, and so on. Prepare your product for export. So it means that you have to prepare your product in such a package, with such inscriptions in such language as it is needed. And look for some maybe threats which could be. When I was director of a foreign trade company, one of 3 biggest chemical trading companies in our country, at the time, my colleague just exported many mineral resources and said to me on the international fair the situation. Once the Republic of Mali asked him to send him salt. He didn't realize that Mali is the biggest exporter of salt in Africa. So for what purpose they had to import salt? But they had some requirements, boxes, wooden boxes. And no one company in Poland could just achieve the quality of such boxes. So what he did, he bought them in Finland, then packed very professionally the salt and sent to Mali. When the boxes came to Mali, they just thrown away the salt and packed into those boxes the fruits and we sent to another country. So the exporter of salt didn't receive the money he invested into this export action. So look for that, how to pack your products. Of course, the cosmetics. Do you realize how much cost the carton box or maybe the glass of perfume or something like that? Sometimes it is the 80% of the cost of the content which it is inside. 80%. My colleagues from Coty in France, company for well-known cosmetics, the guys know it very well, said to me that they buy sometimes the glass and design from Finland, and it is 80% of the price of the perfume. It is not a French product. French product is inside, but outside is from abroad. So it is international division of labor. Maybe you will design this. This package, how to do this. So please make this sure. Find cross-border customers. There is no business overseas for you unless you can locate customers. So that's why you have to come with your publicity campaign. It costs a lot. It costs a lot. For instance, in our country, when Coca-Cola came onto our market, they paid for the publicity campaign for Coca-Cola $40 million. $40 million. In the 70s, $40 million meant almost $1 billion today in that price. You can imagine that? The feedback, they said, will be after 40 years. But in any case, they didn't pay taxes in our country. So it was possible. It was something what they had as handicap of the government. Establish a direct or indirect method of export. It all boils down to export strategy. You have to be a very open-minded strategy and how to export that. Maybe it is not this that you will do it alone. Maybe you will find another company who will help you because it is already on the market. And that's why it is for you very important thing. Hire a good lawyer, a savvy banker, a knowledgeable accountant, and a seasoned transport specialist. Of course, you can feel free and do not hire them, but you really can't afford to do anything without them. My experience. I had relations with Argentina. We export a lot of things, chemicals to Argentina, but we import meat, not exactly to Poland because we had a surplus, but to the Western countries, to France, to Germany. Because I didn't want to have just empty travel of a ship. Okay, it was quite good. And once, of course, we have an agent, because I didn't want to have someone who is not Argentinian over there, because the local people know customs, they know everything, and as well, custom service. And once, it was 3:30 in the morning, rings telephone, and my agent asked me, the problem is that the goods are over the ship, but ship could not leave the port because there is no stamp of a custom service. What? There is no stamp? What to do over there? Is there the customer? Yes. So what to do? Have you any box of Polish vodka from our embassy? It was a special shop, Baltona. Yes. And where is the car of the custom service? Not just behind me. And what is? His behind luggage is opened? Yes. So take this box and keep inside and close the luggage. Okay. After half an hour, he brings once again. Everything is okay, we have a stamp. Look, custom service. So, who is going to say that it was something like, I don't know, bakshish or vziatka or something like that? No, it was only a sign of thanksgiving. Just to make upswing for leaving port of a ship. Why? Because 1 hour more after the data of departing from the quay by ship costs at that port $10,000. So I saved more than $900 per every minute. So for me it was very good transaction. And you know with whom you are working, so sometimes it is very good to make people friendly with you. Next, prepare pricing and determining our landed costs. It is very important because you have to decide what kind of mode of transport to use. If you will just send it by lorries, by trucks, or by ships, or maybe by planes. So it is very important, and then negotiate. It's a problem. Set up terms, conditions, and other financing options. It is possible? Yes. Another example from my practice. I sold a lot of things to Vietnam, especially machines for chemical industry. And once again, when I bought some things, some chemicals from Vietnam as well, they asked me that they will sell me together with the goods I wanted to have 100,000 of sandals, such a type which will be never used by any customer in our country. The quality, the type, nothing. I said, okay, but leave it here, I will wait. Then I sold to Great Britain. They wanted to have Polish cars. Okay, with right side wheel. Okay, I exported. I said, okay, but you know, I have 100,000 of sandals in Vietnam. Please take into account that it's just a linked transaction. English people said, okay, no problem, we buy it. After a half year, we have met together on the international fair in Frankfurt am Main, and they said to me, you know, it was the best transaction I ever made with you. Why? You know that I sold my refrigerators to Egypt, and together with that, I sold those sandals for the price doubled that it cost me in Vietnam. My God. So be ready to look for a possibility with the people, conditions, financing, and everything what's going on to be global. Brush up on your documentation and export licensing procedure. And please, it is very important thing because sometimes you want to do everything by yourself. Don't worry, you have to hire a specialist for that. Because otherwise, you will lose your possibility to export. You have to have the documentation. Sometimes very long queues are on the border. Why? Because the documentation is just not completed, wrong visas, wrong certificates, and. Implement an extraordinary after-sales service plan. When you buy anything, you just do computers or cars or something like that, refrigerators, washing machines, something like that, you want to have a service after that. You asked, okay, I will buy, and if something will be not working well, where I find service. So you have to this service, but maybe sometimes you will create such a service company for the great producer here in Ukraine. It is also your business because you developed your possibility to create after that outside the Ukraine your branch for service because you are serviceman already well working. Make personal contact with your new targets. Every time what you need is to know people. So please, be in touch with your colleagues, students from abroad. Use that possibility. Why? Because maybe in the future it will be your partner, business partner. You will know him. I am as well in such a network of former workers of the United Nations. So it opens me a lot of the doors. Why? Because it is sufficient just to call to Jean, maybe to Judy, maybe to Elaine, everyone, and we know each other because we have worked, but I started during the students' times. And after that, the career is turning around, growing, and you will find your friends just for business. So take a personal contact. And as well, take a personal contact with your possible client, with your possible partner. If you will know each other and do not offer every time a glass of vodka. because it is not a custom nowadays just to drink a vodka. It's not a custom. I know. I remember my Russian colleagues in 70s when we had drank a lot of vodka without any problems to understanding each other, but it was no business. Only social evening. That's it. Okay. Investigate international business travel tips. Why? Because you are going to the different countries. You can cheaper or better flying, traveling. Do not be in a hurry that first occasion is right. No, just investigate, because you will very often travel. So it is your knowledge which will be very good for you and as well to diminish your costs. Explore cross-border alliances and partnerships. It is very important because maybe you will enter to existing alliances, cross-border partnerships. And after this, first of all, and I am afraid that Ukraine and Ukrainian people governing the local communities, they have forgotten that during the association with the European Union, you have the possibility to create Euro-regional treaties with your Polish partners. Why I'm saying about that? Because there is no one step to establish such a Euro-regional cooperation. You lost time, so do not hesitate if you have your friends in the Western Ukraine to say then that there is still a time to arrange something, and it is the open gate to the Polish market. Remember about that. I would like to ask you, how many of you have read the text of the association agreement of Ukraine with the European Union? Who have read the text? Who? Nobody? So you don't know what your government signed in Brussels? No, impossible to believe. Very strange situation. It is necessary to know, because you don't know what are the frameworks of that association. Be sure it is the problem of legal performance of Ukraine within the international society, as the European community is. And the last but not least, enjoy your journey. Why would you enjoy? Because it is time for relax. But you want to know what you want to see, where to go, and just prepare for that. Because your partner, business partner, will ask you very often what you want to see. You have to have just the right answer immediately. It will be a very good pleasure for him how much you know about his culture or her culture. And it will be helpful for business. It is my experience as well. Thank you very much for your attention. And now, feel free if you have any questions. Even we have not too much time, but in any case, I wanted just to leave you free for any questions. Please attack. Who will start? No. So I will add something on the global questions which are today very important for global business. Okay? What's going on in global business at the moment? First of all, there is instability of financial situation, because it is not true that financial crisis is finished. It is not just the case. Maybe in the newspapers, you just read that everything is under control. So it means that nothing is not under control, because everything is fluctuating. European Central Bank has no more possibilities to engage his financial resources with Eurozones, and without permission of the Constitutional Tribunal Court of Germany. Because it is not like this, that if the institution like European Central Bank will say that it must be done, it will be done immediately. No. It is not the problem. The problem is that the government of Germany should have the solution of the Constitutional Court. So the financial stability in Europe is not finished. It is a process which is ongoing process every day. Secondly, the United States is going to establish, to sign quite new agreement with the European Union for free trade zone, and as well for investments, free investments. So what does it mean? It means that we will have inside this agreement 3 zones. First will be the United States, where Fed and United States government could arrange quite different problems with balancing or just gambling with the course of dollar. Don't look for the value of hryvnia against dollar. It is quite different thing. It is internal problem of the Ukraine, but it is not a global problem of the dollar, because dollar is going down against euro. So the United States will have advantage against the European Union, Eurozone, because the prices are stable at the same level within the United States. The prices, the salaries, so nothing is going down, only the course against euro to be more competitive. So in our country, many people are going to say, okay, So it will be very fantastic thing. We can import cars from the United States because it will be almost 20 or 25% cheaper than European cars. Okay? But who will receive those money? If you look at those companies which produce cars are in majority in Japanese hands in the United States. It is the problem of structure of capital. Then, after Eurozone, there are the countries which has no euro, like Poland. We have to just manipulate with the course of zlotys against dollar, against euro, just the rates of interest in banks and so on, because we do not belong under the restrictions of the European Central Bank. And as well, Sweden, Denmark, Great Britain. So it is another part. But look, it will be the last on a global scale, such a free trade zone of the United States of America, because they just embracing the whole globe, and there is only a lack of closing through Atlantic such a zone. The other part of the world is already covered by such American free trade zones. Look for that. Maybe for some of you will be fantastic topic for diploma research to look. From such, maybe our discussions, our presentations, topics for your diploma work, especially within the international economic relations, how it works. Then who is going to make as well such network of free trade zones? China. Another area of research, China. And what is the competition between China and the United States of America? Of course, one can say that a lot of assets, American assets, are in hands of China. When I had been a year ago in China, my American colleague said to me, okay, it is something like that. They are right, Chinese people, that there are American dollars and American money. But look, it is as well Chinese problem. How to take them away, take them back to China? It's impossible. Why? Because it will be reaction of the American market against China, and China wants to keep the American market for their goods. So it is not so easy. And what is the Russia? Well, Russia is just on the border, not far off from here. Okay. A year ago, here in the academy during roundtable, I said that economic security, it was last year, that economic security of Russia is a problem of that country. And he is looking, this country is looking for a conflict. Because it is an argument that we are good, we want to be good, but nobody outside allows us to be better. So look, it is the historical trend of Russian Empire. And during conference in Lvov, representative of President Putin said to me, "You said empire, you just pointed out that our policy is imperial." I said, of course. It is not only my impression, it is my conviction. It is quite different thing. It is different problem for the world, but it is neighbor country of Ukraine, so it is your problem as well. So for your business as well. So you have to use at the moment any chance, any possibility for your global problems and for your relations with your neighbor countries of the European Union, with Poland, with other countries. Look for that. It is changing geometry of security within the world and for global business as well. And last but not least, there is a victory march of Islam into Europe. So it is changing approach and attitude to any business within the Europe. Look for that. Look for that. Yesterday in the evening, it was here on the channel 1, I guess, Ukraine program on intellectuals, Islamic intellectuals in Paris. I never announced in Paris because I had a calendar of geopolitics in Paris, contacts, and I had presentations over there every week, every month over there. And I have all the time the relations with Islamic intellectuals. They are different. They are quite different. It is not one kind of people. They are really different. They are so aggressive against Europeans that it's impossible to believe. And they are as well intellectuals which are going to say that without Europe there is no future for the Iceland at all. And it is rather the very positive sign for possible discussion. Well, it was additional remark for that. If you have any questions, please ask. There is no question. Yeah, I know that you have another lectures, courses, and maybe you want to have before a cup of tea, coffee, just for reanimation, yes? Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Дякую за увагу.